Have you ever wanted a graphics tablet but couldn't really justify buying one? Well, if you have an iPad, a company called Astropad is making it easy. Hey guys, Frederick Johnson here. I'm walking up to my friend Giovanni Donelli's place here in San Francisco. He's going to be showing me or giving me a quick peek at an app that they built called Astropad, and it's an app that turns your iPad into a graphics tablet for photographers and artists. So Giovanni is standing by to hopefully give me a sneak peek at how this thing works. There he is. What's up, man?
Welcome.
Hey.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, good to be here. Let's take a look.
Please come in.
All right, Giovanni, you guys have a pretty cool application out that you've created called Astropad for the Mac, right? So you and I have been kind of corresponding over email. We did a show about this app now. You've invited me to your place to show me how this thing actually works. Let's dive in. So first of all, why did you guys create this? There's already software out there for people. I mean not software, but there's already the Wacom tablets that most artists seem to have already. Why an application?
Well, we think Wacom is creating great products, but a lot of us these days have iPads or iPhones, and we want to create a tablet experience based on such a popular device, such as the iPad.
Yeah.
On top of that, we're able to provide a very similar experience to what Wacom does for the Cintiq line for a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
And nobody has done this before at the level of quality that we've done. And we think there's an important niche that can be filled, and a lot of photographers and artists that needs professional tablet experience.
Yep.
And Astropad is geared towards those users.
I agree. You know, and one of the reasons why I wanted to come here and talk to you in person about this is you have to kind of see it to understand how it works, right? Because you know, when you describe it, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But as a photographer, when you kind of grok that you're actually going to be drawing on the image on your iPad, a number of doors open up. One of the questions with that, before we dive into the demo, is, you know, the obvious comparison again is Wacom, right? With the Wacom tablets and their Cintiq line specifically. What are the trade-offs that we're looking at? Because, you know, there's no free lunch. Everyone knows that. This app is impossibly inexpensive right now. So a lot of people are like, okay, what's the catch? Is it not as good? Is the, you know, what am I giving up if I go with this app over the more expensive Cintiq or Intuos tablets?
Well, precision is still one of our weakest point. We think we are about 80% there. Depending on the stylus that you use, we support most of the styluses that are available on the iPad, and the precision on these varies. So I would say precision is probably one of the trade-offs there. The other thing is, for as fast as we can be on displaying images, we're not as fast as a plugged-in display. But we are pretty fast.
Yeah.
And our Wi-Fi kit comes for free, and the entire app is $25. So you get a Cintiq for the price of Wi-Fi connection kit for a Wacom tablet.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we're talking about here.
And I gotta say, you're being humble, you know, because in practice for the average everyday user, which I would probably put myself into that category, it's plenty fast. I mean, it's fast enough. You're not gonna notice any latency, you know, or not very much on the latency side. But but thanks for sharing that.
I mean, I think for a fraction of the cost, we really provide a very comparable experience.
Yeah, love it. Well, let's dive in. Let's look at that comparable experience.
So Astropad is really two apps. There's an app on the Mac and a companion app on the iPad. Here I've launched the app on the iPad already. I'm going to launch the one on the Mac. When the two apps find each other, you see that a region of your screen on the Mac is mirrored directly onto the iPad.
So it's what you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. So this is effectively your Mac. You can drag windows around as you would do, or you can dive straight into Photoshop. I opened up an image and we can either edit it, or what I want to show you first is our gestures.
Yes.
And you can see how we can zoom really fast in and out from an image, so you can go really into a detail or pan around. This is some of those things that we do all the time when we're editing pictures, and with the mouse, they're just very tedious. This in some ways is far better than also what a Cintiq can do. Our gesture recognition, because we're leveraging all the power that the iPad has to provide an extremely responsive experience.
Love it. Love it. And you're just using your fingers right now. You're not using a stylus. You're not drawing anything. So you can get going with this without any additional investment.
Absolutely. I can over here. I'm going to select a brush. Yeah, so I can go straight in, and I can start masking around this the face of the woman, and I can select an eraser on with a smaller brush and try to refine it as we go more into the details of the photos. Now you can switch between the Mac and the iPad, but really you can drive the entire operations from the iPad entirely. Notice how we are wirelessly connected over Wi-Fi.
Which and take a second, because I want to make sure you hammer that home. So you're connected through Wi-Fi to the through the Astropad app running on both the iPad and the Mac on the desktop. Because you're connected through Wi-Fi, you could be anywhere, right? Well, anywhere where your Wi-Fi bubble connects to. So you could go sit on the couch, you could go in the kitchen, you could go wherever you want. You don't have to be tethered to your desktop, right?
Absolutely. Although we do support a USB for when you are in a cafe or a place where the connectivity is not present or not good enough.
Got it.
So to go back and if you were to sit on your couch, you probably want some controls. So we want to be able to provide a full Photoshop experience directly from your iPad, so that you don't need to touch your Mac. We have a sidebar that shows up as you push on we call it the ring button. And through the sidebar, you can switch between, for example, an eraser or your brush. And you can undo those operations, redo them. And all these features are fully customizable. You can open up the Mac app and configure those in the preferences. So photographers will probably want burning or healing. I'm a painter, so I have the brush and the razor set up.
Yep. And you mentioned that I have full control over Photoshop on the desktop. So in basically, Photoshop is running on my tablet, right? Or I'm remote controlling Photoshop from the tablet.
Correct.
What about things like, now painting and all that stuff, yeah, definitely. I'm going to get in and do detail controls. But what about like layers and moving layers around and reordering and that kind of thing? Do I have access to those? Sure,
you actually have access to the entire screen directly from the iPad, actually. You can enter a mode that we call move and zoom. As I tap on this toggle button, my entire screen kind of becomes like a map of, like a Google map like interface, where I can move around in the entire screen. Now keep in mind, right now I'm controlling my 27-inch cinema display from a screen that is much smaller. So we can move over to the layers area over here, and as I exit the mode, I can just pick up a layer and move it like that.
Love it.
Now, most of the time, you really want to be, you would probably want to move around your canvas or around your screen much faster. So we provide a shortcuts. By pressing the ring button, you actually enter the move and zoom very fast. And so you can quickly jump in different part of your screen.
And once you get used to it, you'll be popping around in there and just sort of jumping around the different tools really quickly, right?
Yeah, we think this is a fundamental feature, especially for a device that has just a fraction of the size, right, of your entire screen. So moving around was a priority for us, and we made that very smooth.
Love it. Cool. So, and then just one other thing. So when you're in here and you're editing, one thing to keep in mind that this is not necessarily a Photoshop extension app, right? You're actually controlling the entire computer remotely.
I am absolutely controlling the entire computer remotely. I could in fact switch over to, well, my dock is not visible right now, but I could go into, say, my mail. And so this is just my mail. I can start just reading it basically. In fact, we have people that enjoy the remote experience so much that are controlling Lightroom just to flick through the pictures on their Mac while they're on their couch.
Love it, love it. Cool. All right. Man.
But we designed this for artists and for professional
that's
photographers.
the target. That's the
target
core market.
Yes.
But you can use it for other things, much like any other tool, right?
Sure, you can be repurposed for some couch activities.
Yeah, I love it. So what else? What else would you like to show us on this this iPad app?
Let's see. Probably the Stylus is what would interest your crowd the most.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is one of my favorite stylus made by Donelli. I'm going to first pair it. Okay, now the stylus now is going to talk to the iPad and it's going to communicate pressure. So we're going to see as we try to mask, for example, on the forehead over here, I'm pressing very gently over the surface, and you see as I press more, it's going to change the diameter of the brush that I'm using. So I can move closer to the hair and just have a more subtle touch. And this is very key if you want to do some fine details and masking. If you want to draw, that's also pretty key. Very common also if you're doing some healing, to control the flow of the ink that goes into the canvas.
Very low latency. I don't see much lag at all between your brush strokes and the actual action on the screen happening.
And again, once you plug everything in, we can switch again very fast to go into the eraser, and so then try to get some fine details on the skin over here. Again, I'm going to brush it, resize the brush size, zoom really in to get this right. Brush. And you notice another interesting thing we have is some modifier keys. We realize that these are sometimes having some quick access to some modifier keys to sample, for example, the color. Is like a fundamental operation in Photoshop, and so we make those accessible. And of course, also handy is the right click. In Photoshop, a right click allows you to select a brush, a different brush size, and a different brush type.
Yeah.
These are pretty fundamental operations that we support. And of course, everything is customizable, so you can enable the modifier keys or you can disable them. We tend to be very light on the UI. We spend a lot of time trying to leave as much as screen estate for the canvas and your photos.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool. And what's the price point of this?
The app is $25.
Okay. And is it $25 for both the iPad and the desktop app, or?
Yeah, the Mac app comes for free.
Yeah.
You only pay for the app on the iPad on the App Store.
Perfect.
Just the usual model.
Cool. All right, and so in future videos, you're going to reveal some other enhancements that you guys have coming, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. Cool, man. So where should people go to check this app out, to see demos of it, purchase it, all that stuff?
Everything comes from the astropad.com website. You can just check it out. Astropad.com.
Yes.
You see a video, and we also have a community there, and you can see what other people are making with it.
Cool, man. All right. Thanks a lot, Giovanni.
Sure. Thank you.
Peace. All right, guys, so that was it. Like Giovanni said, go check out the site at astropad.com and give them some feedback. Let them know what you think of the software, what you'd like to see in the software. And in the bottom in this blog post in the comment section, you can communicate with them. I'm sure they'll be watching. But check it out. I'm excited about what these guys are doing, and I'm always excited to see smaller companies that are doing cool and innovative stuff for us photographers, so in helping push the ball forward. These guys are no exception. Okay, I'm Frederick Van Johnson. We'll see you in the next video.